The day I rolled into my late uncle's driveway, a strange hush wrapped around me. Not the kind you get when you're starting fresh in a new place, but something like the air itself was holding its breath, whispering stories of the past. The rental truck's engine ticked as it cooled, and I sat there, staring at the chipped but sturdy front porch of Uncle Henry's house. It was a sun-bleached craftsman-style home, perched on a quiet hill in Southern California, surrounded by sloping land, gnarled sycamores, and a crooked sign half buried in weeds. Saw Canyon Crest, EST 1962 saw. But here's the kicker, I wasn't in Canyon Crest. Uncle Henry made damn sure of that. I popped open the truck and started unloading. Heavy oak tables I'd built with my own hands, a set of walnut shelves, and the prize of the haul, a battered cedar trunk with iron clasps, Uncle Henry's pride and joy. That thing had weathered decades of dust, sun, and probably a few bar fights. I set it on the porch like it was a holy relic. The front door creaked, just like it did when I was a kid, and inside, the air smelled of wood polish and old books. In the Lee VYing room, I spotted a stack of boxes labeled Saw Henry T. Private Saw. Curiosity got me, and I pried one open. Inside was a treasure trove. Manila folders, newspaper clippings, black and white photos, and a yellowed map with red-inked boundaries. Tucked in an envelope was a letter from the county archives, dated 1961, stating Henry Thompson was a lead builder for what became the Canyon Crest Clubhouse. There were even photos Henry, in overalls, hammer in hand, standing on scaffolding next to stiffs in suits. He looked like he'd rather punch them than pose with them. Then I found the gold. A notarized letter from 1962 showing Henry refused to sign his land over to the newly formed HOA. In the margins, he'd scrawled, Saw, I built this place, but I'll be damned if a bunch of pencil pushers tell me how to live. Saw that was Uncle Henry half craftsman, half rebel. I was still chuckling when a voice cut through the air like a knife. You can't park that truck there. I turned to see a woman, maybe late 50s, storming across my lawn like she owned the dirt under my boots. Blonde bob, designer shades, clipboard the full suburban warlord getup. Excuse me, I said, squinting into the sun. This is HOA property, she snapped, jabbing a finger at my driveway's edge. Per regulations, no large vehicles on backends. Move it. I set down a table leg, slow and deliberate. Ma'am, this is private land. Always has been. Her smile was so tight, it could have cracked a walnut. Oh, I know this property. You must be Henry's nephew. I'm Linda Harper, Canyon Crest HOA president. That grass you're on? It's our perimeter zone. Move the truck. I pointed to a stake marking my property line. That's mine. Check the county records. She blinked like I'd spat in her coffee, muttered, I'll be watching, and retreated. 15 minutes later, 2 cop cars rolled up, lights flashing. Linda had called 911, claiming a male suspect was stealing antique furniture from HOA property. The lead officer, built like a brick wall, eyed me like I was holding a stolen puppy. Sir, we got a report of theft. Antique items from the clubhouse. I nodded at the trunk. That's my uncle's. His initials, HD, are carved underneath. Before he could reply, Linda marched back, while VYing a glossy photo of a trunk vaguely similar, but with different metalwork. That's it, she crowed. Stolen from our clubhouse years ago. The cop raised an eyebrow. Ma'am, got any proof? Police report? Insurance claim? Linda froze. We presumed it misplaced, but I saw that trunk. I pointed to the initials. That photo's from a catalog. I've got papers inside VYing this has been in my family since the 70s. The cops logged it as a property dispute and left. Linda shot me a look like I'd burned her rose garden and stormed off. That night, my phone blew up. Neighbors I hadn't met, old classmates, even a random DM. Is this you? Linda had posted in the Canyon Crest HOA Facebook group. Saw alert. Suspicious indie VY dual unloading furniture. Possibly stolen from clubhouse. Trunk matches item missing since 2017. BVY Gilland. Saw the comments were a dumpster fire. Saw call IC. Probably squatting. He's got tools, could be a scavenger. Saw someone posted a blurry ring cam shot of me carrying a table leg, caption like I was robbing my own house. I sat on the porch with a beer, trying to laugh, but it wasn't funny. It felt like I'd inherited Uncle Henry's war. Next morning, I called a lawyer, Susan Lee, a sharp-tongued bulldog who had once made a country club exec cry in court. I laid it out. HOA president accused me of theft, called the cops, and was now smearing me online. Susan grinned. Cease and desist for defamation. Then we dig up every document you've got, deed. Well, proof of that trunk. I spent the day rifling through Henry's papers, finding a 1975 invoice for a cedar trunk clasp repair, complete with carved initials. Susan sent the HOA a letter dripping with legal venom. I thought it'd slow things down. Nope. By Sunday, my mailbox was ripped off its post, a red spray-painted snake across it. Monday night, my truck got egg-3 hard splatters. Tuesday, I drove 10 feet before saw pop-pop, saw tires blown by 3-inch nails scattered like confetti. The cops came, took reports, but said the HOA denied involvement. I installed motion lights and cameras, feeling less like a homeowner and more like a man under siege. Then the HOA, led by Linda, hand-delivered a letter demanding I surrender the trunk for committee evaluation, claiming it and 2 other items, a bookshelf and desk were community property. They'd even filed a CIVYL suit. Susan called it a reverse land grab. She can't kick you out, so she's burying you in legal quicksand. But the real gut punch came Thursday. I'd gone out for supplies with glue, sandpaper, the usual. When I got back, the side gate was open. My cameras had backup batteries, and I prayed they'd caught something. The cedar trunk was shifted a foot, scuff marks fresh, one clasp bent like someone had pried at it. I pulled the security feed, and there he was, a balding guy in his 60s, tan jacket, black gloves in May. He jimmied the lock, strolled in, and spent 10 minutes photographing my furniture like he was at an auction. He even slapped a sticker under the trunk. Saw HOA catalog, preliminary ID, L. Harper, saw. I called the cops, showed them the footage, the scuff marks, the sticker. Officer Daniels recognized the guy James Carter, a disgraced liquidation agent who'd lost his license. They filed a report for unlawful entry and attempted theft. That night, a news crew showed up, a chipper reporter asking about the antique trunk recovered from HOA archives. Linda had fed them a story, claiming the trunk was VY Sully confirmed as clubhouse property. I told them to get off my land. The segment aired at 6, Linda standing at my driveway's end, saying sometimes lost things come home in unexpected ways. That was it. The line snapped. This wasn't about a trunk. It was personal, a fight Uncle Henry had started decades ago when he told the HOA to shove it. I called Susan. File everything. Defamation, harassment, trespass. No holding back. She said good. We bury them. Days later, Linda upped the ante, sending 2 goons to deliver an HOA and VYTE to a special session to reassess leadership and boundaries. Attached was a board roster listing a new member, Robert Klein, at a house that had been empty for months. Susan scoffed. Her cousin. Classic vote padding. I went to the meeting, not for Linda, but to see her empire crack. The Canyon Crest Community Center was packed, neighbors whispering, some glaring at Linda. She swept in, crimson blazer like she was running for office, and proposed re-VY citing leadership and integrating adjacent properties. I stood, curious how your new board member, Klein, lives in an empty house. No car, no lights, no mailbox. A voice cut through Ellen Price, ex-HOA treasurer. He's her cousin, lives in Arizona. She faked his lease to rig the vote. Ellen held up emails, and the room erupted. One board member quit on spot. The vote was brutal. 22 against Linda, 2 for, 1 an empty chair. She walked out, silent, but her glance at me screamed, "Saw, this isn't over." Saw. It ended in court. The beige courthouse felt like a gladiator ring. Susan brought everything. Break-in footage, the HOA sticker, forged residency papers, Linda's Facebook posts, the news clip, and 6 neighbors' testimonies, including Ellen's, whose folder could have doubled as a doorstop. Judge Margaret Cole, a no-nonsense ex-prosecutor, ran the room like a drill sergeant. Susan opened with fire. This isn't a property dispute. It's harassment, defamation, and abuse of power. The courtroom watched James Carter waltz through my house, tagging my trunk. Linda claimed it was a misunderstanding, but Susan tore her apart. You labeled his heirloom as HOA property. Call the cops. Post it online. Misunderstanding. Linda stammered. Ellen testified about Linda's vote rigging and fund misuse, her voice breaking. I stayed quiet too long. Judge Cole's ruling was a sledgehammer. Ms. Harper waged a malicious campaign, she said. Damages of due law $135,000 to Mr. Thompson, including legal fees. She's banned from HOA boards for 10 years, and her role in the break-in is referred to the DA for criminal re-VYEW. Linda crumpled, whispering jail to her lawyer. As she was let out, the room buzzed neighbors, reporters, even her allies, stunned. Linda Harper, queen of Canyon Crest, dethroned by a cedar trunk. 3 months later, the trunk sat in my workshop, polished to a glow. A brass plaque reading, "Saw stolen?" No. Inherited. Defended in court. Saw locals drop by to see the famous trunk, some calling me the guy who slayed the HOA dragon. Ellen became interim HOA president, gutting the bylaws and banning property meddling. Linda? She sold her house cheap, fled to Nevada, and got laughed out of a condo board in her VYEW. At my 4th of July barbecue, under string lights with kids running wild, a new neighbor spotted the trunk. "Is that it?" he asked. I nodded. He grinned. Thought it'd be bigger. I laughed, sipping my beer. Just heavy enough to bury a tyrant.